Better get the cool slow, y'all, because we're having us a barbecue.
Welcome to tonight's live stream. I'm going to get started in a minute on this barbecue. You just need to let everybody on social media know that the stream is currently on the air for this roast. What's going on, Chase Cowens, Core Prince, Computer Robots, Keating Rourke, and Juwan Buchanan? I think this guy is one of these biracial black guys, and that's possibly it. But I'm going to go in depth on this dude who seems to be a bit of a hater as related to the content that I produce on my channel. Now, a couple of months ago, I took this dude, Coffee Comics, to the barbecue because he got in his feelings because after not talking to me for 3 years, he wanted me to do a live stream with him, and I couldn't answer him because I was talking to other people who were making video requests. And he decided to go on a 45-minute rant that I went out here and deconstructed. And just recently, I found out about this other dude on YouTube who seems to have a bone to pick with me, named Neil Allen. Now, I'll show you his page and show you the dysfunctional behavior that he's been participating in over time regarding what I believe to be his obsession regarding me. So I'm going to show you what this dude is doing on his own, on the page of his channel. And this is his page right here. Look at all the videos that he has posted regarding me. And again, when I look at this behavior, it basically reminds me of what the late David Carroll talked about regarding the dysfunctional state of black males. I mean, here is a textbook example of everything David Carroll talked about regarding the dysfunctional state of black males right in front of you. Because this type of behavior where you're sitting here making videos about another man, this is just, again, plain old dysfunctional, because you never see any other group of men going out here making multiple videos about another man. No, you don't see that at all. No, only in the case of some of these dysfunctional black males do you see this kind of behavior. And when I look at this kind of behavior presented to me, it basically really reminds me of what David Carroll talked about as related to some of these black males being somewhat effeminate and basically being sexually suspect. Because only a sexually suspect dude is going to be sitting up here making up videos of another man and sitting up here making video after video of another man, sort of like a sort of codependent love-hate letter. Again, this is not the kind of healthy behavior that a healthy man with a father in his life participates in. No, when you have a healthy man will just go out here, and if he disagrees with the content that a man puts on his channel, what he does is just go out here and hit the X at the tab on his browser and keeps it moving. Because, like the late David Carroll used to say, everybody is entitled to their opinion. And the whole thing is, if you disagree with somebody's opinion, you just basically put a period at the end of things and keep it moving. But in the case of this dude, he basically is all up in his feelings. And the start of him being all up in his feelings primarily is because he's just extremely upset over a review that I did for Concrete Comics Luna #1. Now, this was the first video that he did on the issues that he had regarding my review of this comic, and he was basically upset that I made this whole review video taking this book Luna to the barbecue. And the reason why I took the book Luna to the barbecue basically was because Luna in itself was a textbook example of what I called a swirler fantasy, and a swirler fantasy all about this black female basically looking to present and project her fantasies about being involved with white men. Now, this book I took to the barbecue because here we have a black woman writing a fantasy story, and it's set in the year 9900 or so. And again, you would think that in a black fantasy story set way in the future, you would want to present a story of black on black love. But that's not what was presented here in the pages of Luna. No, what was presented in the pages of Luna, this fantasy story set in the future, was this blonde-haired black woman basically wanting the moon and to be over the moon over a white man. And this is the type of anti-black narrative that's presented in mainstream media. And I was deeply disappointed over this whole comic because this comic, coming from a black-owned company, a black-owned company that was presenting comics that were all about black empowerment, that was the thing that really just hurt my heart, because Concrete Comics was looking like it was going in a direction where they were showing us brothers who were strong and masculine with characters like Acolyte, and books like Odina, which in spite of its issues showed us a black woman with natural black hair. I mean, we were getting some great black empowerment books as related to Concrete Comics. And then all of a sudden we get this turn with this book, Luna, and a couple of other books. And that's where this dude basically got in his feelings, because he got butthurt when he saw that review where I basically called this book out for promoting a swirler fantasy to black people at this black-owned company, and made it look like I was against interracial relationships. Well, dude, did you ever read the Spinsterella trilogy? Did you ever read Spellbound? I mean, Spellbound had Matilda comes from a black mother and a white father, and even though she is considered to be biracial, Matilda is a black woman. And again, a black woman who is basically, even though she's a part of the goth scene, is focused on black culture and black empowerment. So this dude, he was getting in his feelings over this Luna comic book, but really, again, did not do his research as related to the work that I was making a critique of, or looking at my background. No, he just ran on his feelings with him and his white girlfriend, upset because I made this review of Luna, a book that, again, that I saw as a textbook example of black self-hatred. And again, black self-hatred, because if you're writing a story about the future, I would think you would want to have the imagination and vision to see a world where black people loved other black people married other black people, and in that future, you would see a world without white supremacy as related to your perception of people's minds, and you would see a world where there was no white supremacy because black people overcame it. That's what I would think you would want to imagine and envision for the future. But dude, when he saw this review of Luna, I mean, he got just as butthurt as the publishers of Concrete Comics regarding this hot mess of a comic, which I really don't care about, and I'm possibly going to put on eBay because I don't want this book because it's complete trash. No, when it comes to this book, I don't even want it in my collection because it's an example of the kind of self-hatred and anti-black racism that we get from mainstream publishers. I mean, we get this kind of self-hatred from mainstream black publishers who give us all of the swirler books. I mean, that's what we got in the pages of Luna. But this dude, Neil Allen, basically got so upset over that one review that it basically got him in his feelings. And he really just doesn't really, again, understand how things are as related to the black image. And I believe a lot of it has to do with the fact that this dude is extremely young, and an extremely young guy who doesn't really understand the whole world of white supremacy and its overall impact on the black male and the black female mind. And he basically was possibly one of these guys who grew up in Gen Z or Generation Alpha, who is out here believing in concepts like the whole world of diversity and inclusion, and doesn't understand the subtle politics transpiring around him. So since this guy is basically doesn't understand things, I'm going to take a moment in this live stream to try to school everybody about how naive dude is, because when I look at dude, he really reminds me a lot of Job, of Elihu in the book of Job. Now, just like Coffee Comics, again, he was reminding me of Elihu. Now, Elihu was this young guy who basically, as related to the book of Job, wanted to try to tell Job all about what was going on with him, but didn't know much about life. And this is why Bildad, Zophar, and Eliphaz basically dismissed him, and his passages in the book of Job are seen as ones that people really didn't regard. And they didn't regard it because this guy was, again, really green, like Neil Allen is as related to life. And again, he's looking like one of these 20-something dudes. I'll bring his picture up again as related to this video. Again, fair use under copyright law. And I'm going to just try to put up my disclaimer first because I know how some of these guys are. I know how they just love to just go out here and get in their feelings and then talk about, oh, it's a copyright violation. Talk about it's a copyright violation, even though it is under fair use. And dude did use my likeness in his video under fair use of copyright law. And again, I'm not going to get into a back and forth with this dude. I'm going to do things by the book here as related to community guidelines, as related to things. And again, putting up the disclaimer right now to say things. I'm going to try to put this disclaimer up in a minute. Let me see what this. And putting up this disclaimer, let everybody know what's going on, because I know what these kind of dudes love to do. I know the games that they love to play. And again, this is going to let everybody know this is fair use of this page under copyright law. And again, fair use under copyright law of 1976. Got to say that because you know how some of these guys are. And again, looking at this whole situation, and I want people to understand and take a look at this dude as related to how young he is and related to his dysfunctional behavior. I mean, here we have Neil Allen's channel. Again, here's his page. Again, the series of videos here you got right here. First one, 33-minute video watching my own video as related to this Luna #1. Again, this is the kind of dysfunctional behavior that this guy's participating in. And again, so many videos about one dude. And again, this is not healthy masculine behavior, not healthy masculine behavior at all. No, not healthy behavior. I mean, let's look at this dude. He's looking like one of these kind of biracial black guys who really, again, doesn't know much about life. Young guy, don't really know much about life and don't know the game, but wants to sit there and try to tell me the game, similar to Elihu in the book of Job. So this is what his channel page looks like, and it looks like he's basically looking to look to start some sort of thing with me. And again, this is not healthy behavior for any man to participate in. No, not healthy behavior at all. Not healthy behavior, all because this dude is in his feelings. Again, starting out as related to a review of this Luna #1 from Concrete Comics, the comic that basically, again, made it where me and Concrete basically ended our business relationship. Everything was going good with me and Concrete as related to their books until this Luna came out, and they got a bad review on this book. And there was another book that I gave a bad review to. I can't really remember that book, but those guys couldn't take criticism. And this dude basically, he doesn't really know how to even deal with issues with people, because had he just came to me and looked to resolve the conflict, we could have worked this out behind the scenes. I mean, had he sent me an email to express his grievances, I would have addressed his issues and let him know why I addressed this Luna the way that I did. I would have let him know all about the issues as related to this book, and I would have let him know all about how this interracial relationship was not about an interracial relationship between any sort of a black woman and a white man as related to being on the marriage, and this was just a swirler fantasy. I would have let him know all of that, but he didn't want to go and talk to me, because when it comes to dudes like this, they're too scared to approach someone because they're afraid of conflict. And they're afraid of conflict because they know that if they approach somebody on a position or an argument that's completely wrong, they're going to get taken apart and have their talking points deconstructed. And that's what this guy didn't want to deal with as related to this situation. Again, this is what this guy basically was upset about. He didn't want to go and resolve the conflict, so he looked to go out here and start some drama online, basically because what he wanted to do, I believe, is try to get his channel's subs and views up and get some drama going. But that's not how it goes here on the Sean James channel. No, on my channel, I'm trying to represent an image of heterosexual black men that's positive. And as I'm looking to present an image of heterosexual black men and black manhood that's positive, I do not get into back and forth with people. I do not do beefs and arguments. No, what we do on this channel is I present my arguments, and after I present those arguments, I put a period at the end of things, and I keep it moving. But I see what this dude is up to as related to this whole situation. He basically wants to go and get some drama going. Because his channel basically doesn't really have a lot of subs. He only has 138 subscribers and 29 videos. And again, that's not much even for a starter channel. No, when it comes to a channel and you're creating content, you want to make content that really gets the attention of people. And this dude he cannot go out and get the attention of people the way that I have been able to over the last 10 years. No, he doesn't know how to curate content. And since he doesn't know how to curate content, what he wants to do is create controversy believing that creating controversy will go out here and get people to pay attention to his channel. But like I talk about in my book, Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, a lame is a lame. And if you are a lame as related to creating content, then you're not going to be able to get views. And you're not going to be able to get views because you don't have a presence. You don't have a vision. You don't know how to articulate your points. You don't know how to connect with people online. And if you cannot connect with people online, then you can't form a relationship with them to get them to engage with you. That's what this dude doesn't understand about the whole business of social media. About the whole business of social media, you've got to have a very engaging personality. You've got to have a strong presence and a strong personality. And again, this takes time to develop, but this guy don't want to put in that work. No, he don't want to put in that work. So what he wants to do is believe he can piggyback on another dude who has a larger viewer base, but doesn't want to put in the work that someone like me did to build that viewer base and that base of audience. Now, when it came to my audience, I started out a long time ago, back in the early 2000s, when I was writing reviews for Amazon.com, cooking and roasting movies and recommending movies online that I had watched on TV or I bought DVDs for. And that's where I started my base. And after that, I moved on to Blogger back about 2009 or so. I even had people saw the blogs that I was doing and offered me a column on Onyx Link. And there I built my audience. And over the 20 teens, I wound up building my audience on my blog, Sean James Black Freelance Writer, to the point where I had almost 2 million views and hits. 2 million hits. And that's where I decided to start making serious moves over to YouTube. Now, I had a channel as far back as 2009. And I did a couple of videos when black men were getting flagged, but then I didn't really feel comfortable enough to start talking online until about maybe 2013 or so. And that's where I started to rediscover my voice for media, because a long time ago, after I was bullied in junior high school, I had lost my voice. And around 2002, I lost it to the point where I just couldn't speak anymore. And I became extremely anxious. But eventually, I started to rediscover my voice, because what I wanted to do was go out and start selling books like on the SJS Direct imprint. I wanted to start getting readers to pick up books like Isis Amari's Revenge. And in order for me to expand my audience, I turned to YouTube and I started making videos first about the Black fantasy and science fiction and comic books. And then I started going further into what I was known for, men's issues. And as I did this, I spent years developing my voice. And as I developed my voice, what I did was really start to connect with the audience over time. That's the work that I put in over the years that I've been on YouTube. But this dude don't want to do that kind of work. No, he don't want to do that kind of work where you go out here and talk about what you're passionate about, talk about what you love, and share that with the audience. That's what I was doing on YouTube over these years. Even before many of the more popular YouTubers like Diversity in Comics talked about comics, I was talking about comics. I know there were other guys talking about comics like Mr. Superboy. Mr. Superboy talked about comics for years because he's a longtime comic fan and a sci-fi and fantasy fan. But I was out here. This was the thing I was doing. And again, a lot of people knew that I was doing this. They knew from my blog I was out here looking to expand the SJS Direct imprint. And again, I put that work in. And as I put that work in, people started to notice me because I was, again, just being myself. And I put that work in. But this dude, again, he wants to sit here and think, oh, I'll start some sort of drama, try to get a back and forth going. try to get people clicking and viewing. Well, that's not how it works in the real world because, again, lames who are lame online in real life are lame online. And when you are a lame, you cannot go out here and get no views because you don't know how to create content that makes people care. I mean, this is where this guy has an issue with himself again because he doesn't have the confidence to go out here on his own and focus on himself. I mean, here I am, a guy who has then gone out here and been focusing on himself for a decade and focusing on his game. And again, my focus is on taking care of my business. But this dude, he's not looking to stay in his lane, not looking to stay in his lane as related to his own work. And again, this is the thing that impedes his ability to make progress because as I see it from looking at his work, he's basically one of these guys who definitely needs a lot of help as related to developing his craft. And instead of making 30-minute and 40-minute videos about another man, he needs to be focused on developing his craft because he says he wants to be a comic creator. Now, here's a dude who says he wants to be a comic creator. And when I'm looking at his work, and I'm going to show y'all his work, I mean, here you have this dude talking about he wants to be a comic pro and again wants to talk bad about me. But when I look at his whole work, again, it's not looking like the work of a dude that's ready. No, not looking like the work of a dude that's ready. I mean, I'm looking at his art for his Zatzwan comic book. I don't know what this is called, but it's not looking like anything that's really ready for prime time. I mean, I'm looking at this art right here, and this whole art style is really hard to look at. I mean, the compositions are really stiff. The colors are really just not really flowing. Now, this is some sort of cosmic type series that's supposed to be a mix of MCU meets Power Rangers, but it's just hard to really get into this art because it's hard on your eyes. And dude, instead of coming at me and making 40-minute videos about me, what you need to do is really go study some references like on artmodels.com so you can learn something about composition. And you really need to learn how to really study body language because your compositions are really stiff. I mean, when I look at the bodies here as related to this art, it's really stiff. And again, when you're having a comic, you don't want to present art like this because it's not strong art. It's not really dynamic. He's trying to draw this book himself, but the whole thing is you've got to be able to concede and admit, okay, I might have this concept, but I'm not the one to do this. I mean, this is something I had to do myself back when in around the 20 teens when I started the ISIS series. I mean, when I started the ISIS series, I didn't have much money. I was drawing my own covers because I just wanted to publish books and have something out there because I didn't want any gaps on my resume because I didn't have that money. But the whole thing is I had to concede that I needed help from a professional artist. And that's where I started my professional business relationship with Bill Walko as related to him doing the covers for the ISIS series. And I sacrificed parts of my toy collection to do that because I understood that I can't do this myself. And dude, you can't really, this art, you may think that it's good, but this art is not where it is. I mean, again, I'm looking at your art and it's not something that really would get people's eye. I mean, when you put this book up against stiffer competition, like many of these indie books, I mean, I buy indie books all the time, like this Mercy Sparks that I bought. I'll show you this Mercy Sparks and stop sharing this. I mean, look at this art right here. This is a variant cover, and look at this art, how strong it is. And even look at the art for John Haynes at Death's Door by Antonio Balderi. I mean, your art is the first thing that people see, and it's the first thing that's going to give people a first impression of your work. I mean, when you are out here making comics, you have to understand that your book is going to represent you. And again, if your book isn't strong and it's looking bad, then it's going to be hard to sell your book. I mean, I look at Corey Hardiman's Sister Mercy. Again, this is a fantastic cover. I mean, Corey is a talented writer. He's hitting his stride, but he has got a great artist in Ricardo Silva. And the art on Sister Mercy is just absolutely fantastic. I mean, this is what art looks like when you hire a professional. And again, sometimes you might think your concept is nice, but you've got to go out and concede, okay, this book ain't really working. It's just not working at all. And I got to go out here and let some other professionals come in. That's what I had to do on as related to the Isis, Esteem, and John Haynes covers. I had to admit, I don't know what I'm doing, and I needed to trust a professional like Bill Walko as related to these covers, because Bill would be a better expert. And I had to concede that point, because I had to say to myself, you know, Bill knows art better than me. He knows perspective better than me. And his art really stands out. I mean, when you have a really solid artist like Bill Walko or a Mike Williams who does the John Haynes covers, again, this can leave a strong first impression on people. And you want to leave that first impression on people because it's your cover's the first thing they're going to see. And the thing you want to do is get their attention. And when I look at this dude's comic, that's one, I mean, it's not really getting my attention. No, what it's doing is basically giving me one big headache. That's what I'm getting here from this comic that I'm going to show you once again. I mean, I'm getting a headache here from this comic. And that's from a professional perspective of somebody who's been reading comics for 25 years. And this guy, he's so in his feelings about me that he doesn't really want to put in that work on his comic, which again has serious issues. And the thing he wants to focus on is about me and talking about me, when he doesn't see what people are saying about his comic. And they're looking at his comic and looking at all of the technical problems. Again, I'm not going to give away too much of this comic, but there's just real issues. I mean, look at this dude's body. I mean, the body is just all out of proportion for a teenager who's going to school. I mean, when you have a teenager, usually they're slim. They're not this big and buff. And again, this guy really shows me he needs to take some anatomy classes as related to bodies. And he really needs to go out here and take those the classes, because he really doesn't know how to pose bodies. I mean, I'm looking at these compositions, really not there. And it's not there because he really doesn't, he's so busy looking to focus on different things as related to me that he's not focusing on himself. So I'm looking at dude's work and I'm seeing problems, because if he took this stuff over to Marvel's editorial, they would basically cook and roast him. I mean, basically cook and roast dude, because he's not focusing on those things that an artist needs to focus on. I mean, every comic artist I know, what they do is they're constantly looking at references, constantly looking at bodies, constantly looking at body language in order to make the action move. I mean, I myself have to do this as a writer. When I'm doing a comic like John Haynes at Death's Door, in order to make the sequences transition, I have to study how bodies move. And this is why I watch a lot of wrestling, because pro wrestlers, basically, they are acting with their bodies on camera and telling a story. But this dude, instead of looking to put in that work to improve his craft, what he's doing is going out here making videos about me, thinking that he can elevate his status by getting into it with me, and thinking that he can get reactions from people about me, but that's not really helping him at all. No, what would help dude is if he went out here and headed it over to posespace.com and looked at several of the models on that site and saw how they were posed, or he started looking at video references of different bodies and how they moved to make his composition a bit more dynamic. I mean, if you're an artist, you really have to go out here and put in that work towards looking to improve your craft. That's something that you have to do, because if you want people to take your art seriously, they need to see that story being told. They need to see that story being told in the body. And you really need to see how bodies move and see how bodies move so that you can get a sense of how action is supposed to move from panel to panel. And in addition to that, you need to go out and really watch movies to see how action sequences and transitions from scene to scene, because that's going to help you understand how, again, bodies move. But Neil here basically, again, is sitting up with his grill cooking sausages, hamburgers, lobster, fish, and shrimp, and got his grill cooking about another man instead of staying in his own lane and focusing on making his work the very best, because he's just not really having that courage to go out here and focus on improving in his craft. That's just my constructive criticism of his work. I'm not really barbecuing, dude, because he's really, again, a young guy, and I don't want to crush this guy the way I usually do, like with somebody like Coffee Comics, who basically shows me how much of a sellout he is. I don't want to crush this dude too hard, but the whole thing is that this dude, again, is showing his dysfunction on display with this whole series of videos of another grown man. And again, that's not how a man operates when he is on code. No, when a man is on code, he navigates through his emotions. And yes, while he may have a feeling about what a dude is saying in a video, he's not going to act on those feelings. That reflects badly on him, because to go out here and make 30 and 40-minute videos towards another man, that's optically not looking good for a dude. No, it's not looking good for you as a dude if you're out here making 30 and 40-minute videos towards another man. No, that's something that a dude does when he's effeminate, because that's a female trait. Females go out here and make videos about another man. They'll sit there and make videos about another man and what he's saying. I mean, this is the type of behavior that these females who are a part of the gender war participate in a back and forth. But grown men, what we do is, again, if we see something we don't like, we may disagree with that person, but we're going to be able to hold our resolve and basically move on, because we got other more important stuff to do. I mean, that's what I learned myself many years ago growing up, and I saw it reinforced when David Carroll made his videos. I mean, David Carroll tried to tell many of these black men how to carry and conduct themselves. Even the brother of logic and common sense tried to tell you how to carry and conduct yourself. But this young male does never possibly got those videos. And it really shows with the behavior he's participating in, where he's basically embarrassing himself, because people look at you and say, hey, look at this dude. He's out here making a 40-minute video to another man and making a video about another man. They look at you and say, hey, something's wrong with dude. And that really is something that this dude doesn't understand, possibly because he doesn't have a father in his life to teach him how to conduct himself as a man. Now, as related to his professional reputation, seeing these kind of videos really makes him look bad. And it makes him look bad because, again, you're making these emotional responses to another man. And even more troubling than that, you got your girlfriend in the video. You got your white girlfriend in the video. And you don't see how optically that makes you look bad, because what that's doing is making you come from a position of weakness, because it shows you cannot stand up on your own. I mean, part of the things that a man has to do is he has to stand on his own. if he's going to present an argument, again, that's what a man shows as related to his position as a man related to character. And it also shows as related to his position as a leader. I mean, a leader has to stand up on his own, because when a man stands up on his own, it shows that he has the character to stand for his position. But when you got a dude standing with his white girlfriend, people look at you and say, one, this dude is weak. Two, this guy really is a sellout. And again, looking like a weak sellout because you're leaning on a white female instead of standing up like a black man. Because black men, we got to stand up for ourselves every day in this world. And we stand up in the face of all of the adversity we face in this system of white supremacy. That's something we got to do every day. And if we don't stand on business for ourselves, what that shows is that we are basically proving a racist point. And that's what this dude doesn't understand. He doesn't understand that a man like myself stands on his own, and again stands because he has to have that character to stand, because if he doesn't stand, he will fall in the system of white supremacy and be destroyed. Now, this dude also has an issue with me talking about black empowerment. I mean, that's another issue that was one that really troubled me, because as somebody who has been in this hobby of comics, science fiction, and fantasy for ever since I was 4 years old, and I've been in this whole hobby ever since I was 4. So it's been over about 46 years I've been in this hobby, and it really troubles me to see so many black people being bootlicks for white supremacy and never looking to stand on a position of black empowerment. Because you would think by being the steward of the black image, you would want to try to elevate the black image to show black people having power. I mean, here we are, the ability to imagine a world of ourselves. And sadly, this guy doesn't really see how important it is to have images of us with power and images of us taking power. That's something that many of these black individuals that troubles me have this whole perception of. Oh, I don't want to see an image of black empowerment. No, I don't want to see an image of black empowerment at all. No, all they really want to do is go out here and look to be the black person in a white world. And they want to be the black person in the white world and think that that's what an image of black people is supposed to be. But that's not what I came on here for. No, I didn't come into the whole hobby of comics, science fiction, and fantasy to be creating stories where I'm going to be in the background of somebody's white person's foreground. No, I didn't come to be in that kind of world. And I didn't come to be in that kind of world at all. No, I came into this hobby because I wanted to present images of black people that would empower brothers and sisters, show black people in the same position as ones who could go out here and be on the same level as whites and non-blacks, and again, show black people having that power to be able to stand up strong. And it's dudes like this that basically had an issue with the cover of John Haynes' Godbreaker. I mean, these individuals basically had an issue with this cover where I asked Mike Williams to show John Haynes holding Thor's hammer. And these guys got so upset at this cover, and it really troubled me because it showed me that you have a black person who doesn't understand what is important about having an image of black power. An image of black power is about showing brothers and sisters how we can take our power, we can take our respect, because it's not going to be given to you. That's what a lot of these folks I'm learning in this comic, science fiction, and fantasy circle have an issue with. They have an issue with taking power because they see all the power being in the hands of the white supremacist industries like the comic, science fiction, and fantasy world, but they don't see how they can take power in an age where we have the technology to be able to take control of our image. That's what's really troubling to me about this guy and the Luna comic book. It basically is troubling to me because they were basically out here. Here you are, Concrete Comics, Black owned comic publishing company. And instead of looking to empower Black women, you go out and make a book with a Black woman with blonde hair, involved with a white guy, and think that is the kind of fantasy people want to escape to. But that's not what I would see as fantasy. I mean, in the year 9000, again, I would see a world where white supremacy was destroyed eons ago, and Black people are now in connection with themselves and on their way to creating their own utopia where they were the ones with the power. But I'm seeing from what I'm seeing out here is that they really are uncomfortable with the idea of Black people having power. And again, this bootlick basically shows that to me with his Zatzwan comic book, and again, shows it to me with this comic where he basically, again, in addition to the terrible art, gives you this image of Black people that's quite troubling. And again, his ultimate fantasy is to have himself, his character, in the arms of a white female. I mean, this is the image that he wants to present as related to being his ideal. And it's really troubling. He's got himself with his character with the green eyes and with the straight hair. And again, I don't see a single iota of Black pride in any of this image. No, I don't see any sort of Black pride in this image. I mean, this is quite troubling when you look at it. I mean, here's a guy upset that I called out Luna for its interracial relationship, and he's out here, I believe, upset because he thinks I would cook and roast his own book, which is happening right now. But the whole thing is that if you're a Black creator, you would think you again would want to empower Black people. But I'm finding in this whole space of comics, science fiction, and fantasy, there seems like the standard here is that folks want to go out here and be bootlicks. I mean, it seems like you got a lot of folks here who want to make compromises with white supremacy, and they're hoping to go out here and get that covert contract where they think if they go out and bootlick and pander to white supremacy by degrading and debasing themselves, they will get some sort of deal with these comic book companies. And that's where I see that these guys really are dysfunctional, because I thought, based on what guys like Richard C. Meyer, Comics Matter, your boy, Zach, I thought that comics were supposed to be on merit. I thought it was supposed to be on the merit of the quality of the story presented in the script and presented on the merits of the art. But when I look at a lot of these Black so-called comic creators, I'm not seeing how they're looking to develop their stories based on merit, based on the merits of their skills. I don't see them getting to be on the level of what I presented in John Haynes at Death's Door. No, I don't see anybody looking to put that type of quality on the page or present a book that basically represents them. Because with John Haynes at Death's Door, I was trying to, again, not only just put out my first comic, but I wanted to present an image of Black people that I thought would reflect positively on Black people. That's what I wanted to do with my own comic. That's what I planned on doing, because again, my mission ever since I was 18, 19 years old was always about presenting positive stories about Black people and positive stories about the Black experience. That was always my goal, to try to empower Black people by presenting positive images of us, humanized images of us, images that shattered the stereotypes of us. But I'm seeing from what's happening here in this modern comic industry, what happens is that what they want is a bootlick. What I'm seeing from this guy, Neil Allen, and I'm seeing also from guys like Eric July, it's seeming to me like being a bootlick is the standard, but that's not my standard as a creator. And I'm seeing where a lot of these guys are having an issue with me because what I'm doing is basically upsetting their apple cart and not being one of these bootlicks who's going to go out here and make compromises with white supremacy, make compromises with white supremacy, and basically compromise my integrity, compromise my mission. That's what I'm seeing out here. And that's what I see with the behavior of Neil Allen. He got an issue with me because I'm talking about Black empowerment. I'm talking about uplifting our people. And it just deeply troubles me that it seems like Bootlick is the standard. Now, if what Juwan is saying is true, that Luna got a Netflix deal, I mean, that's really sad because it shows me that when it comes to Black fantasy, they want to continue maintaining the standard of white supremacy, where they go out here, get a token Black character, put the token Black characters in place, and continue maintaining the standards of white supremacy, where they push these swirler agendas that are detrimental to Black women. And it's detrimental to Black women because you got this Black woman looking to deify and worship a white man, but not looking to love a man who looks like her. And that's the saddest thing about Luna. Again, a world set in the future where we don't even love ourselves anymore. Now, as I was looking at this dude's channel and the comment section, I started to see that they not only had a beef with me regarding Black empowerment, but he also had a beef with me regarding the whole 2019 passport situation. Now, that whole 2019 passport situation, again, was 5 years ago, and there are folks who are still upset over me trying to present the talking points to shatter the narratives regarding these Black men going to get their passports to go out here and pursue foreign women. And I made that video again because I loved Black people. And when I saw Black men like Bakari Henderson losing their life in these foreign countries, I really cared enough about Black men to let them know why this whole approach is a complete failure. Because when it came to that approach, they were out here in their feelings about Black women and so upset at Black women that they thought, oh, I have to go out here and explore my options in a tit for tat in this gender war, where they heard about the Black women swirling and divesting. So they're going to go get their passport to go get this foreign woman and have this better foreign woman, when in actuality, you're being manipulated by white supremacy, being manipulated by white supremacy to make you believe that this woman is better, when in actuality, in these countries, they're calling these women leftovers and trash. And basically, they're calling them that because what they're seeing is that, hey, we had these foreign men have already had those women. The white guys who came there had them. And basically, the Black man is out here scavenging for scraps instead of having a value and worth in himself. He doesn't want to, again, put in that work. And a lot of those passport bros who were it 5 years ago, still with their grill cooking sausages, hamburgers, and lobsters and fish on their grills, they're sitting up there talking about me instead of putting in that work on themselves. You're in the comment section of another man, hiding from another man, and don't see how dysfunctional that is because you're sitting there watching another man and talking about another man. Again, this is female behavior. Men do not operate like this. And again, men don't operate like this because we focus on purpose. That's what I have been doing for the last couple of years after the whole passport debacle, still trying to go out here and build and still going out here and producing tangible results like this John Haynes comic, producing tangible results like the SJS Direct 2024 catalog and the books of the 2024 catalog. I mean, fixed, tangible results that I am producing every year. But dude is sitting up making videos about another man and not even got his channel monetized because this kind of content don't get your channel monetized because it's not information that can get people's lives better or help them out. No, when I go on the air, I try to go out here and help our brothers and sisters. I mean, recently I did a video talking about handsome men and handsome Black men and the problems they have on the job. And this dude's grill was cooking up some more hamburgers, sausages, hot dogs, all sorts of lobsters and fish because I said I was a handsome man. And yes, I am a handsome man because I get the attention of sisters and women all the time. It's all because I have the confidence to be myself. I have the confidence and masculine presence to be the kind of man that radiates masculine energy. But when you go out here and you don't have no confidence, you sit there and talk about, oh, this guy's a handsome, not calling himself handsome. Well, you got to have self-esteem to see yourself as somebody who is handsome and see yourself as somebody that has value. That's one of the reasons why I can attract an audience, because I see the worth in myself. And again, see the worth in myself to be able to go out and pursue what I'm going to pursue. Even though I don't have a full-time job, I'm still working on my own stuff. And again, working on my own stuff, going out here selling my own stuff because I have the confidence to go out here and sell myself. Because if the employers won't hire me, I go out here and make my own job. And I've been making my own job for the last 15 years, building up the SJS Direct imprint, building up the SJS Direct imprint because I wanted to empower Black people. I wanted to present positive images of Black people because I live in a world where all I see are images of self-hatred. And what's really sad is that as I see these images of self-hatred, I see these images of self-hatred being promoted to Black people from other Black people, because this image right here ain't the image of a Black man who loves Black people. No, that's not the image of that a Black man who loves Black people produces. No, the image that a Black man produces that loves Black people produces is an image like the one I'm going to show you right now. I mean, the image that you go out, that a man who loves Black people produces, is one like this one that I'm going to show you. And again, I'm going to show this right now. Again, a Black man who loves Black people shows you Black men and Black women standing together on a cover. That's what a Black man who loves Black people produces. I mean, when you have a Black man who goes out here and loves Black people, he's going to produce content that shows us coming together, shows us loving each other, us standing together. That's what a Black man who loves Black people is going to produce. I mean, a Black man who loves people is going to produce content that basically elevates and uplifts our people. That's what a Black man who's about Black empowerment will produce. I mean, what he's going to do is go out and produce images that go out here and promote us being together. That's what a Black man who loves Black people is going to do. Again, going to go out and produce those images that show you Black people together and show you Black people together and fighting against these forces out here. That's what I got here on this Escape from Transylvania story. I mean, the stories that I'm telling is showing you a Black man standing with a Black woman, shows you a Black man standing with Black women and standing with Black women that he loves. Again, shows you those humanized images of Black people. And again, not out here promoting swirling or anti-Black messaging. That's not what you're going to see in a Black man who loves Black people, because a Black man who loves Black people, he don't got time to go out here and present those type of anti-Black images, because he understands the image, the influence of an image on other Black people. And as somebody who has had people tell me that they let their kids watch the channel, I'm trying to be as careful as I am as related to content, because what I want to do is show those kids a world where they can see themselves, a world where those kids can see themselves being the center of that world, a world that shows you where a Black person can be the center of a world and be the focus of a world and be the ones out here being in the foreground of their picture instead of being in the background of a white person's picture. That's what I want to show people. And that's what I try to do here on the SJS Direct Imprint that these bootlicks don't understand. I don't go out here and publish my work trying to get approval from these white folks at Marvel or DC. Yes, I aspired to work at those companies when I was younger, but my work has always been about empowering Black people and presenting a positive image of us. And as I've gotten older, sadly, from what I heard from guys like Coffee Comics, and I see from bootlicks like Eric July and the complete selling out of Concrete Comics, I'm starting to see that, again, you can't really make those kind of stories on mainstream media platforms. And basically, I'm seeing that that is not going to be a road that I could ever go on. Because I remember back from about 98 to 2004, I was legitimately trying to get positive Black stories to the mainstream. And I almost got my book, The Cassandra Cookbook, to the marketplace. But a lot of people didn't like the idea of the alphabet character being presented as a villain. And they turned the book down for that reason. And the other reason that my best-selling author friend told me was because it was a book that featured Black-owned businesses with other Black-owned businesses. And again, didn't want to see those images of Black people like that. Now, I thought that people would want to see that after the success of The Cosby Show, but it seems like that was the exception, not the rule. No, what I'm seeing as related to this hobby based on the dysfunctional behavior of these individuals like the Coffee Comics and this guy, Neil Allen, is that being a bootlick is supposed to be the norm. And these bootlicks basically are out here. They think that this is the way, going out here, again, throwing your entire race under the bus to get approval from these white corporations. But that's not a covert contract I'm going to sign. No, I don't sign that contract because we got enough of these anti-Black images on these platforms. We got enough anti-Black images out there, and people need to see some positive images of Black people. That's why I can say I'm glad that I went out and supported Black Sands when it was out, and Manuel Godoy has done a fantastic job as related to showing us strong images of Black people where we are in the lead. I mean, I can recommend that series, but I look at this whole situation again, and it just really saddens me that you got this guy basically young and he's out here thinking that this is the way, thinking being a Black bootlick is gonna get him some brownie points, and his behavior basically is sad because here you got a young man with all the who could go out here and actualize his potential, but instead of him focusing on actualizing his potential, he's out here making videos about another grown man, making videos about another grown man who is older than he is, has seen more in the world than he has experienced more life than he has, and really could help him out as related to his craft. Instead of looking to work with someone like me, he's looking to go out here and looking to try to springboard his YouTube channel as related to clicks and views, looking to go out here and get his channel up on clicks and views. But this type of content he's producing, I'm telling you from experience, it's not the way. No, you gotta come in this YouTube space with your passion, with your craft, and you have to curate content that builds the views. Now, when I look at this dude, it's really sad because I look at Diverse Comics and Pop, Raymond Leonard's channel. Raymond Leonard, who created Agent Solo, his channel is growing, and it's growing because Raymond Leonard is passionate about his craft, and this brother got so much heart. I mean, I just got nothing but respect for that brother. He's up to 11,000 subs, and again, 11,000 subs because he goes out here, he makes his videos about comics and makes his videos about his love of comics and makes live streams about his art. I mean, this is the work this brother has put into his craft. And he goes to these Comic-Cons and he networks with artists like Rob Liefeld. He puts that work in. And I got to respect him for that. Same thing for Chris Crazyhouse, who also puts in that work every day on his Naturally Cute coloring books. That brother puts in that work. I mean, when I see those guys making videos, again, they put the work in and they work on their craft. But this guy, again, he ain't putting in that work. I mean, you got 29 videos and about a good chunk of them are about another man. And that's not how it works in this whole business. No, it doesn't work like that at all. You don't have any work on your business. And again, in the business of the social media space, if you're selling yourself, you want to sell yourself and show what you have to offer. I mean, that's what I do every day when I go out here and make videos daily. And I'm going out here talking about different topics. A lot of those videos that I talk about regarding the man crisis, those videos basically sold the book that and Sandman's review of The Man Crisis was the first positive review he ever gave of a book that was glowing. That's a lot of people said. And I go out here and I made appearances on different channels for that video. And people came out, and because I, again, have something to offer, and again, I present what I have to offer, but dude is out here not showing us what he has to offer. No, what he's showing me is that he's sitting up here hating on another man and hating on another man because another man is putting in work that he should be putting in. But I think what he's doing is basically putting pipe in Becky, not understanding that, you need to be on your priorities about your business. Again, a businessman is about his business because what you put online is a reflection of you. And what I put online is a reflection of me. Now, yes, I talked about how I was out of work for 15 years in one video. I talked about that because a viewer requested it. And in that whole video, again, as I was talking about losing a job, I talked about what I was doing as I was out here without work. I was putting work in myself and investing in myself. I talked on the positive about what I was doing. And I also talked about how many of these employers don't really want to see anything because they have tunnel vision. A lot of these employers have tunnel vision because they want everybody to fit into this box. But in this world, again, things are changing. And again, people have to find ways to make livings. If you can't get these jobs due to the narrow-mindedness of people who erected the HR brick wall. And what dude didn't understand about that video was that video where I talked about how I was out of work. That was a video requested by a viewer. So they basically paid for that video. And again, didn't understand my business because he doesn't know how to do business. And that really shows by how he has presented himself online, because the way dude has presented himself online basically shows me that how green he is, and how green he is basically shown to me once more by the comic that he has presented to the world. I mean, I'm looking at this artwork again, complete amateur hour as related to composition, complete amateur hour as related to proportions, complete amateur hour as related to colors. Now, reminds me again so much of me when I started out. But when I started out, I had to swallow my pride, and I had to swallow my pride and accept, okay, I can't do everything. This is what the Most High told me. I expected too much of myself. I can't do everything. And I have to go out here and concede that, yeah, I need help from professionals, to be able to help me get my work up to a higher standard. And that's what I did starting in 2014. I started to say, hey, I got to go. If I want this company to start getting some momentum, I got to go out here and and find some professionals to be able to help me get this right. Now, as I've done that, I've been able to turn the art over to professionals, and they have helped get the covers up. I've learned how to use stock photos, and I learned how to market. I mean, I've had some campaigns do well, like when I had for Spellbound, where I had 90 days before the book came out. I did a campaign, and it was a big success. Got a lot of impressions from people on the goth scene. Got a lot of goths talking about Spellbound after they talked about Spinsterella. So I learned how to go out here and build marketing campaigns for books. And again, I understood that I needed to make sure I was talking about what I knew about these books, whether it be from research or from my own personal experience. That's what I learned how to do in these videos to sell books. because an author's job is to let people get to know them and let them get to know how they came up with the ideas for this book. I mean, that's what a creator has to do. And again, I spent time working out here, but dude doesn't want to put that work in. And again, I keep repeating that. And this is what a guy has an issue with me, and it's related to things in the comment section. Oh, he repeats all the time. Well, the late David Carroll used to say repetition is the mother of skill. And sometimes I repeat things because some people just don't get a talking point. Some people are extremely dense and they don't get a talking point unless you say it 2 or 3 times. And I ran into that in the comment section of a couple of videos. I ran into that in the comment section of some videos where people weren't getting the topic, weren't really understanding what I was putting down. So sometimes I repeat because I wanted people to understand the talking point. Other times I repeat because I'm trying to catch my thoughts that's related to the next talking point, but it's done for a reason. And again, a lot of these individuals, they got issues and they sit there with these issues. And instead of them working on their issues, they're sitting here complaining about another man. And again, that really is, again, dysfunctional behavior that I have to say, like David Carroll has said, quite suspect behavior, because no straight man is sitting up watching videos of another man. No straight man is sitting up here watching videos of another man that hard. No, there's got to be something wrong with the dude if he's out here like that. Either there's a mental health issue or the dude possibly has some sort of attraction. But I have to say, I do not swing that way. I like the ladies. I do not like the fellas. So, dude, again, if you're sitting there watching another man making 44-minute videos and 30-minute videos about another man, people going to be looking at you with a side eye. Again, optically, this is not how you're supposed to roll on these YouTube streets. No, on these YouTube streets, you're supposed to be talking about what your passions are, supposed to be talking about what you care about, what means something to you. I mean, I find it interesting when I look at dude's channel once again. We're gonna look at his channel once again. We do not see a single video talking about his book. I mean, when you look at a guy's channel and he's got nothing about his book there's something wrong. I mean, even on my channel, and we're going to go over to my channel and take a look at it. I mean, let's take a look at my channel. Yes, I have different topics as related to videos, but you do see as related to my videos, and I have a couple of thousand videos up here. You're going to see me talking about my passions, like right here, when I talk about the Valorverse Gemini figure in that video. You see me talking about my passion, and you see me also, again, talking about different topics, but you also see me talking about my books, like here, where I talk about Esteemed Horror in the Hamptons. You see the ad for that book, and you see that I'm always having different subjects on here. And again, I'm talking about my passions, like this review of Cat Claw right here. And again, always in the front of all the videos, I'm always talking about my books, and I have them up front, like you see the Dark Incubus right here. I mean, always got something about whatever I'm working on. And again, you see that I've got everything there as related to my work, and have everything there as related to my work, because my job is to, as I see it, sell my books and sell myself. And again, my job is to sell myself to viewers and let them know who I am, what type of products I produce, because this is my calling card to people. And it's gotten me, over the last 4 or 5 years, a lot of collaborations with different YouTubers, and they've contacted me and say, hey, I want to have him as a guest on my show, want to have me as a guest on their show, because I am really good at presenting information, really good at articulating my thoughts, really good at presenting my talking points, and even got a break on Fox Soul. That's what I got, again, over the years. Got that over the years with people, again, talking, as just talking to people about my passions. But this dude, again, he's upset with another man. upset with another man who's in another part of the world. But people who are, again, healthy don't get upset like this. No, they don't. Not sitting up here worrying about another man. They just go out here and take care of their business. Marcellus Prime, I can offer mentoring if you want that, but you have to want to do what you're going to do. I've done different consulting things with different creators. I've had creators come to me and ask me to take a look at their work. Recently, I just had a female creator ask me to come and look at her work, and I do that all the time. I take a look at people's work all the time, so it's not a problem as related to looking at somebody's work and helping them become a better writer. Gonna go through the super chats and the chats. Thank you, Soul Survivor, for the super chat. He says he'll give me another super chat to throw that trash book again. Well, I'm just gonna put that book on eBay and call it a day because I just don't really want that book in my collection. It's just not really one that I believe meets the standard for me. I don't promote swirling. I don't promote anti-Black agendas. And it really disappointed me to see this book as part of Concrete Comics because I thought they were a Black-owned company that was about Black empowerment. But it seems like they just did the Halle Berry in looking to get the Netflix deal for Luna and were willing to sell their soul for that. And that just deeply saddened me regarding Concrete Comics because I thought they were a company that was going to do like Milestone, but again, it just really saddened me about them. And again, just I look at it, and again, it was just one of those sad things for me. So I just really look at it, and again, I look at this guy, and again, I'm really sad for him because again, he's sitting up here not knowing how the world works, not knowing how life works, not knowing how things work. What's going on, One Full Boss? Glad to see you here. Not knowing how to go out here and really make things work. Now, as it comes to me, again, I just wonder, do you have to be a bootlick in order to make it in comics? And if that's the standard that I'm seeing that you have to do in order to be a part of comics, then I guess I'm never going to be able to live that dream of being a comic book writer because I'm not looking to lick nobody's boots and compromise with white supremacy for a consolation prize. No, I'm not going to be a Christian Cooper who originally worked for Marvel Comics in order to get ahead. No, I'm not going to turn on Black people. That's what Coffee Comics got upset about. He was like, oh, you wasted 20 years of your life. And I didn't waste any time because, again, I went out here, I went through the proper channels. And since I know the proper channels didn't work, I moved on. And as I moved on, I understand that now that, as a Black creator, if I have to go out here and sell out, I'm not going to do that. Not going to do that because for me, I came here to present positive images of Black people. And I've taken a lot of losses to do that. I mean, I remember going to the Harlem Book Fair and being ignored 2 years straight. Well, I lost my job and I went out here, I invested in it thinking Black people would want that kind of book. But I look at that and I go, okay, I'm not going to, and that's when I turned to ebooks, but I'm not going to go out here and give you books that I know are going to destroy Black people, like what you get from many of these street lit authors, what you get from people like Lee Daniels and Tyler Perry. And what I get are people like this who want to tell me, oh, you need to sell out in order to be able to get success. You need to be able to sit there and say, oh, I'll go along with narratives like swirling. I'll go along with these whole narratives that are anti-Black in order to get success. Well, I'm not going to go with those whole things. No, I'm going to promote Black on Black love. I'm going to promote Black empowerment. I want to promote images of Black people that show us taking our power. I want to show Black people that they can be in a world and be the center of that world and that you can see your own success. I don't want to show Black people what they've been getting from the mainstream media because if I'm producing the same crap that they produce on the mainstream media, then I'm doing the dirty work of the white supremacist. And if I'm doing the dirty work of the white supremacist, then I'm just wasting my time and I'm wasting my life. And that's not what I came here for. Again, as I put on the back cover of The Temptation of John Haynes, death kills the flesh and compromise kills the soul. And I don't want to make that kind of compromise. I don't want to be in that situation. That's what Neil doesn't understand. He doesn't understand what that compromise will do to you. It basically destroys your soul the way it destroyed the soul of Halle Berry. I remember seeing Halle Berry after she won the Oscar for Monsters Ball. And after she won that Oscar for Monsters Ball, she was a completely different person. And she basically wound up regretting making that compromise because it didn't open any doors for her. No, all what happened to her was that the white supremacists got a good laugh at her. And they got a good laugh at her because they got her to give up her dignity to get that gold statue. And then they gave her absolutely nothing at all. Same thing that's going to happen to Christian Cooper now that he's got his Emmy. He's got his Emmy, but the whole thing is he lost his dignity and his self-respect. And that's what as a creator, I don't want to lose. I mean, I would rather maintain my integrity, just work in SJS Direct out here, rather than go out here and be one of these sellouts, because these sellouts, yeah, they got the thing in the mainstream, but it's not elevating black people. You're just, again, a background character in a background story, or you're making a movie like Black Panther where the black character is in the background of the foreground of white people, and even in the background of his own movie, because they don't want you to see black masculinity. And again, I look at this dude, and again, it's really sad to me, as young as he is, he's basically been spellbound, looking to fit himself into a black box that's acceptable to white people. And the irony of it, that book is that he was complaining about Luna and the interracial relationships, but Spellbound had a woman who was born of an interracial relationship, and that black character basically was more self-aware than this dude, who really doesn't understand what it means to be black, doesn't understand that you are at war in the system of white supremacy, and that you have propaganda bombarding you from left and right, from both people, white and black. And that's why you need to read new black media and watch new black media and be empowered, because these people want to take your power with this media. And this spellbound individual basically would rather abdicate his power and give up his power, because he's been out here and been compromised and sitting here with this white girlfriend, thinking he's on cloud nine, not understanding that what happens with a lot of these white females is that they will be with you as a fetish, as related to finding out if the carbon rod is made out of hard black carbon. And after they've had their fetish, what they will do is go out here and dump you, then move over someplace else, reinvent themselves, and get themselves a white guy. That's what this guy doesn't understand because he's young. No, he's caught up in the American melting pot, not understanding they're looking to toast you as related to things. I mean, this guy is a really sad, and again, he wants to talk about how I'm a man in crisis. Well, he's basically in a worse crisis than I am, because he's basically trying to fit himself into a black box that's acceptable to white people, not understanding that in trying to fit yourself in that box, you don't see how the white supremacist wants to take the box and basically crush the box after they finish with you, because like Professor Black Truth has always said, white supremacy always breaks its toys. And when it comes to Bootlick, Bootlick is a job without a retirement plan. That's what Eric July is finding out right now, and he needs to go look at Young Ripper 5'9". Here was a black male who decided to go off code and take a picture with Kyle Rittenhouse and double down on taking that picture with Kyle Rittenhouse, standing up for Kyle Rittenhouse, a racist who I believe wanted to kill black people in that Wisconsin town when he lived in Illinois. And basically, Eric July thought, oh, I'll stand with these white racists. But those white racists in comics, they didn't want to stand with him. I mean, you got Ethan Van Sciver and many of these other white racists looking to take him out because they don't like the idea of a black man making more money as related to this comics hustle than he is, don't like the idea of a black man having better success than he does, and are looking to take this black man down all because he went out here and created this rip-averse line of comics. And again, he got a Bootlick's reward, and he's got a Bootlick's reward in that these white supremacists don't want him to be the face of comics. No, they want a white man to be the face of comics and want black bootlicks in the background to be passively there as representation, but aggressively don't want us telling our stories, telling our stories about our experiences, telling these stories based on our view of the culture. They don't want to see us presenting our images of self because image is important. And when you see certain images, again, I will show you once more. I mean, if you look at this image of John Haynes on John Haynes at Death's Door, look at the story that I'm telling. Here is the story of a masculine black man facing off against a Greek god. And here you have the black woman standing there behind the black man. Look at the composition of the figures in this story. Here you have the story of a black man protecting the black woman and the black man in a leadership role. And again, when it comes to white supremacy, they don't want you to see this kind of image because they fear that this type of image, when you read books like this, it's going to inspire you and get you to start saying, hey, I got to stand up like a man. I got to stand up for black manhood and black masculinity. No, what they want you to see is, again, an image like this guy, Neil Allen, has put on his comic. I mean, if you look at the image of John Haynes at Death's Door and compare it to what's being put here, here you have the white woman being presented prominently as a princess and elevated to a high status. And you have the black man basically standing behind her with his green eyes, celebrating white supremacy with his slicked hair, looking like a white man, looking to fit into white society. That's what you have here. And again, completely different from this image. That's the difference between a black creator who is aware of self. This is the difference between images and story. Again, this is what they don't want. Again, don't want you to see a black man in a power position. Don't want you to see a black man like on Illuminati, looking strong and having a sister standing at his side. Again, I repeated that once more because I want you to understand the difference in perception of self and image of self. I wanted you to know the difference in perception of self because this is something that guys like John H. Johnson, when he was alive, talked about. This is what Brother Malcolm talked about. This is what Mr. Superboy talked about. And again, when you have a self-aware black man in charge of your image, the story that is told is going to present you strong. The story that's going to present you with power, present you with strength. And again, that's going to change the way you see yourself. And again, it's very important when you have a guy who understands image and understands how to tell stories. And that's where I come in. And again, this is where Neil Allen doesn't understand the racism that goes on because he believes possibly there is no racism. He's possibly one of those dudes who believes that there is no racism. And again, sad dude who doesn't understand the realities as related to black people and black image and why we need people like myself to be talking about black empowerment and image, because this is important to those people out here, especially the young kids out here. I mean, one of the things that I do, again, that really I'm really about is trying to present positive images of black people. And I'm about that because I know that the next generation needs to see that so that they can have an image of self to know that they can go out here and achieve and accomplish anything. I mean, again, I will talk about how I have kids watching my channel. A lot of my viewers let their kids watch this channel. So that's why I try to present those positive images, because I've had viewers tell me they feel safe enough to let their kids watch this channel. And with many of the books that I produce, I have viewers who give these books to their kids. And I had viewers tell me how it changed those kids' perception of self. I mean, it had black kids basically seeing their natural hair as beautiful, having them see black skin as beautiful, having them see black people as having power. That's what people get from SJS Direct Books. But this guy, basically, he has an issue with me because I want to empower black people. And if that's the case for Black creators. Again, I really have to shake my head because that's not what I signed on for as related to this whole business of comic science fiction and fantasy. No, as I look to make an escape for Black people into fantasy, I want them to be empowered with that fantasy. And if that's the case for Black fantasy being filled with bootlicks, then maybe this isn't the space for me. And I need to go out on my own and just focus on developing my platform outside of looking to be a part of the main Black circles. That's what I'm starting to see here, because I'm not going to be a bootlick, not going to compromise at all. No, not going to compromise to be a part of Black fandom. No, if I'm about Black empowerment, then I'm going to just keep being all about Black empowerment without ever looking to Black fandom to build my whole base. Now, I'm going to get ready to wrap up tonight's stream, and I want to thank everybody for coming out to tonight's stream, and I'm hoping that you guys will pick up John Haynes at Death Store, which is available on Lulu.com right now, and in addition, will be coming to Amazon soon. I'm working on making an Amazon version of John Haynes at Death Store, and I hope you'll pick up this comic on Lulu right now. This was the same book as the 2022 Kickstarter, but the one that's coming to Amazon will be a bit different. And I'll let you know what that book is going to look like once I finish putting together the PDF. So in addition to John Haynes at Death Store, it's on Lulu. You can pick up the books of the SJS Direct 2024 catalog, like Isis Amori's Revenge, which is a refresh with a new cover by Bill Walko that's absolutely fantastic, and great colors by Nick Capone. Just a great looking cover as related to this book that's been re-edited and set up for everything, and even has been just completely redone. So this book is basically a brand new book, and it's available on Amazon.com right now. And you can pick up the last book in the SJS Direct 2024 catalog, Esteemed Horror in the Hamptons. This is available on Amazon.com in paperback right now in Kindle format, and digital format like Graph to Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart and Target. And Isis Dark Incubus kicks off the third story arc of the Isis series, and this is a big book at over 150 pages, and again is an action-packed story that reads just like a movie and deals with Isis as she deals with the issues of white supremacy on the Black female mind as related to Black love. This is a very powerful story, and is one you don't want to miss, because this will be your opportunity to have an entry point into the third story arc of the Isis series. And John Haynes Illuminati pays tribute to Carl Weathers and Action Jackson, the poster. I asked Mike Williams to do this cover to pay homage to it, and he told me that that whole poster was based on the James Bond movie A View to a Kill, and this cover basically was one that Chris Crazy House asked me to produce for the cover, and I paid homage to it, and I wish I could have gotten in touch with Chris Crazy House in time to get a pinup done, but couldn't get in touch with him regarding it. I wanted to have him do a pinup in the back like I have in Isis Dark Incubus, which features some pinups that I do as related to Black beauty. I have 2 pinups in the back from Antonio Balderi, and I also have a pinup from One Phobos. This is some fan art from One Phobos, and if you want to put in some fan art, you can send it to my email at sjsdirectamerica@gmail.com, and I'll publish it in the next book. So I know it's getting late. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. I've got to go to sleep soon. So I want to thank everybody for coming out to tonight's stream, and I hope you'll be there for next week's stream. And I hope you guys will drop a donation to the PayPal or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. Again, appreciate you having your time with me. Everybody have a good evening, and everybody have a good night.